just seems so insane based on what he ran on. Horrible.
Where's the Epstein files? Boo, can't find them.
And these stupid, senseless wars.
Joe Rogan was not always on Trump's side. In fact, for months he was one of the loudest voices calling him out. So what changed?
We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than... That's okay.
Because recently, something flipped. Joe Rogan endorsed Trump ahead of the 2024 election.
Joe Rogan just endorsed me, is that good?
He had Trump on his podcast for 3 hours. He helped deliver a generation of young men to the polls. But after the inauguration, the relationship started cracking.
A lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars. Trump was going to come in, and a lot of things were going to be resolved. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. Terrible tragedy in Minnesota where that woman was shot. And then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
So the question sitting over all of this is simple. Did Rogan change his mind, or did Trump change his strategy? The falling out. Let's start with where the tension actually came from. Rogan has always had a strong anti-war stance. It's not political for him, it's almost philosophical. He genuinely does not believe America should be sending young people to die in conflicts that most Americans cannot explain. So, when Trump, who ran explicitly on ending wars, escalated into a military conflict with Iran, Rogan did not stay quiet.
I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
And these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Then there were the Epstein files.
He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
The Epstein files. Boo, can't find them. Don't exist.
Like, they can get away with, man.
Oh, yeah.
Trump was going to come in, and a lot of things were going to be resolved. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Rogan's influence. To understand why any of this matters, you have to understand what Joe Rogan actually is in the media landscape.
Well, hey, that's right.
His podcast has over 17 million YouTube subscribers. These are not locked-in partisan voters. These are the exact people campaigns fight over. Trump appeared on Rogan's podcast in October 2024 for 3 hours. That single episode racked up more than 26 million YouTube views in its first 24 hours. On election night, when Trump's team gathered to celebrate the win, Dana White walked to the microphone and
I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelt Boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bustin' with the Boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
The psychedelic shift. Here is where the story turns. On April 18, 2026, President Trump signed an executive order at the Oval Office directing federal agencies to fast-track research into psychedelic drugs, including ibogaine, psilocybin, MDMA, and LSD. Standing directly behind him was Joe Rogan. How did this happen?
Really respected by everybody, and he's a fantastic person. Joe Rogan, to say a few words, please. Joe.
Well, I want to say that I'm here because of the man to my left. Brian Hubbard and former Texas Governor Rick Perry came on my podcast. They told me how impactful this medicine is, and having that conversation with them, millions of people got a chance to hear their story, hear the stories of all the different people that have had life-changing experiences from it. And I want Brian to be able to speak about this. I want to tell everybody how this happened. I sent President Trump some information. We have a gigantic opiate problem in this country, obviously. In 2024, more than 80,000 people died of overdoses. It's a horrible number. And there's more than 5 million people that are addicted to opiates right now in this country. With one dose of ibogaine, more than 80% of people are free of that addiction. With 2 doses, it's more than 90%. I sent him that information. The text message came back, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it. It was literally that quick. These drugs are illegal not because they're harmful. They're illegal because of the 1970 Controlled Substances Act that was passed by the Richard Nixon administration. They did it to target the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. It's not because these drugs harm people. And for 56 years, we've lived under those terrible conditions. We're free of that now. We're free of that now. Thanks to all these people that we see next to me, and thanks to President Trump.
Strategy or coincidence? The White House had been working behind the scenes to court Rogan for months before the signing ceremony. Trump was described as being frequently in touch with Rogan. Vice President Vance flew to Austin, where Rogan is based, for a fundraising stop and met with him privately. RFK Jr. appeared on the podcast in February and stayed in regular contact with Rogan.
We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than... That's okay. I have a lot of friends that are liberal, but Joe is an amazing guy, and he wrote me a little note about this, and I had it checked out. I didn't just do it. I had it checked out. I went to Bobby and Oz. I went to some of the people that work for you, real pros, and everybody came back with the same answer. You know, normally they'll come back, because this happens a lot. I have a couple of them like that, where they're not sure. It's like, you know, it goes two ways. This thing, everybody thought it was incredible. And I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, let's just do it and get Oz involved, and it's going to get done so quickly, and you guys did a great job.
The blackmail question. Now, there's something else worth addressing.
So you saw that thing that I had to do with the White House the other day?
I did see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are pissed.
Who's pissed?
I don't know. People online.
What, because I was at the White House?
Yeah, they're like, yo, Joe, you can't be at the fucking White House, Joe. You said you were fucking politically...
Homeless. I am.
Homeless.
He joked about it. He called me a liberal during the whole thing. He's like, Joe, he's very liberal.
We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than... That's okay.
I think the real problem is once you say something and then you have to defend it, and then once you find out that it's wrong, you fucking panic, and then you double down, and then you try to defend it in some weird circular logic way.
And you'll get there. You'll probably, if you're smart enough guys, will just figure out a way to ask backwards their logic. But every once in a while, it's so nice to go, oh, dude, I was completely wrong about that.
Some people online are asking a darker question. Is there something more going on? Is Rogan being pressured? The instinct is to ask what you are not being shown. That instinct isn't crazy. It's actually part of Rogan's own audience, the same audience that pushed him to question the Epstein files, the same audience that doesn't trust official explanations. The question itself tells you something about how quickly the temperature around this relationship has changed. So what actually happened here? Rogan did not suddenly become pro-Trump.
Everyone has to have an opinion.
Yep.
Nobody wants to admit they're wrong, right? And they have to have a hot take. Everything that happens within minutes.
Yep.
Not even a moment to let me reflect. Let me just do a little bit of research. Let me just look up a couple facts. They just jump into whatever their opinion is.
If you don't want people to have their opinions on you, don't go to the White House.
That's a great point.
You know, like, I don't fault them for getting, you know, whatever hot take, getting mad at me for whatever reason. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's your thing. You're allowed to. You're supposed to.
In today's media world, influence isn't about changing someone's entire worldview overnight. It's about finding the one issue that already matters to them and making sure they know you moved on it.